Hello, my name is Andrea Ferguson. Thank you so much for giving me your attention in this moment. If you could please share this so that other people can learn why mindset is not enough and kind of the next step you can take if ever you find yourself in a state of fight, flight, or freeze or panic when there's a little bit of noise happening in your world and you just want to calm down in only 90 seconds. Please take a moment to go to andreaferguson.com. You will be redirected to mycryptoalliance.com where there are resources for you to download. Very, very, very quick tactical things. You will also get an opportunity to become part of our Telegram community, which is really, really neat because you'll have the affirmations in the appropriate way and regulation mantras that are coming in. So I want to tell you why I focus on a few techniques that I think are very important, um, and the relationship between these techniques and mindset. So first of all, there is a place for mindset. And if you're familiar with any of the work that I did for a year straight, I was going online and I would go live and have daily affirmations for entrepreneurs. Super, super helpful, super good to get yourself in the right mindset for the day. But that I started to understand why affirmations and mindset was not enough to keep you from spiraling all of the time, 100% of the time, and that's because we are in this human body. Will always be things that catch you off guard or that just shock your nervous system. And in that moment, mindset goes out the window because your thinking brain goes offline. So I started looking further into ways that I could reset myself in only 90 seconds. And if you think that's pretty awesome, type in 90 seconds, 90 seconds. So you understand you can reset yourself in 90 seconds, but also you think it's pretty cool that you have the ability to even do that. So there are others that talk about it, but they're usually in separate disciplines. For example, um, and I have just a couple of notes here because I thought about it. Well, what makes what I do so different? And aren't there a million ways to calm down? Yes, but you don't learn these techniques unless you are knee deep in therapy or if you are in the military, law enforcement, tactical performance circles. So that would be like Navy SEALs, it would be elite performers, coaches will teach you that. But you it's rarely taught outside of these tactical spaces, outside of or these athletic spaces. So, um, since we're not all psychologists that know everything about polyvagal theory, and since we're not doing, um, in these long-term trauma works where you learn all of these frameworks and everything over time, I thought, what is the way that we can have a system, a very quick system, to deploy, like protocol with steps and all of these things. And I won't bore you with all of the technical jargon, but I just wanted to let you know that this is like a triage kit. So the way I think of it is when you go to the hospital, there's several ways to get to the hospital. You could get there because your primary care physician referred you. You can get there because you walk yourself in. Um, just on your own, you decide to go. You can get there by ambulance. So that's emergency room or urgent care or something like that. But you probably are going to pay an extremely high price. Um, Maybe, well, that could be depending on where I won't go into all of that. All I'm saying is the mindset you can think of like the primary care. Okay, so it's where you learn about how to take care of yourself. Maybe you were in the ER and you went back to your primary care doctor, which would be a beautiful thing. That is what we're trying to do here. We want you to I'm not saying to abandon mindset. I'm not saying it doesn't matter because, and what is mindset anyway? You might be thinking. So, mindset or mindfulness is a way of thinking. It's a way of being. It's a way of staying present in the moment. So, if you have a normal functioning system, you will not necessarily be rattled by a sudden change in your life. If you have a traumatic response, based on maybe some past something has happened, then and it's prolonged, you could be in kind of this traumatic type of response where even the small things become really, really big things. But regardless, we all have these moments where we find ourselves in fight or flight or freeze or shut down or panic or something happens. And um, when you are in the ER, when you do come in through ambulance, you need triage. You don't need anybody to walk you through, okay, well, I know you're having this cardiac arrest, but here's no, you need the solution. You need to get out of it. You need to survive. If that makes sense to you, type in survive. I just want to make sure that we're following along. And I'm going to check all of the socials to make sure, because I know when I started, I was mute. I'm going to make sure that I am showing up. All right. Looks good so far. Looks good. Looks good. All right. So, as I said, you just need a quick out. You need a triage, you need something to work. So, I'm going to share with you what that looks like. Hopefully you understand. Mindset still works. Not saying don't do it. Hopefully you understand the reasons why this is different is because we're not in any specific circle where you're going to get this beautiful but not very helpful in the moment ways to prepare yourself. So, because you can't prepare for a crisis in the crisis. I always say you have to prepare for it before the crisis comes. But what happens when you find yourself inside of the crisis? So that's something that we're going to talk about now. So let me share my screen. Okay, great. All right. Okay, so as I said, this is when you are trying not to black out. Okay, you're just trying to stay alive. You're just trying to stay alive. Um, So why do, and I'm going to talk about traders because as you can see, I'm wearing a Bitcoin earrings and shirt, and that's because we live the crypto lifestyle. So you can actually go to andreaferguson.com, see what all I'm talking about, and be a part of our community because there is, this is kind of the time. Bitcoin just broke an all-time high, and a lot of people are diving in and they have no idea what they are getting into. They just see an opportunity like a gold rush, and I completely understand that, but it gets really brutal out there if you do not know. And what advanced traders, scalpers, and all of these people will tell you that are in crypto is that it's like 90% mindset. So you really have to understand. But again, mindset will only take you so far. What happens when traders fail? Well, you get emotionally hijacked. And this is because your primitive brain floods you with chemicals designed for threats. So your body is constantly, your brain is constantly scanning for threats. Okay. Um, and even though these chemicals are designed to help you outrun a bear or a lion or some kind of attack like that, not price charts, it still works the same. So you have this primitive brain flooding you with all kinds of chemicals, and then your prefrontal cortex, all of your thinking brain, your reason, all reason goes offline. And it's funny because it's your brain's way of trying to protect you by sabotaging you. It's like, all right, we're just going to shut this thing offline so we can have a manual override. And it's usually when you need it the most. So what that means is that all of that mindset I was telling you about, like all of the therapy, the deep work, all of these things that you learn, the tools that you have, the know-how, all of these things are inaccessible because it is barricaded behind this wall. Okay? And it's inaccessible. It's a wall of fear, really. So that's why traders fail because they get emotionally hijacked. Okay? It's not actually the trade in itself, it's how you emotionally respond. So there's a protocol, there's a way that I explained it to you. There's a way to take some techniques that are used, the ones that I consider to be the most important, and deploy them when you're going through so that you can reset in 90 seconds because you don't have 90 minutes, you don't have 90 days, you don't have 9 years, you don't have the time. So what do? You go through the drip protocol. I'm going to run through it very quickly and then I'll teach you the regulation techniques that actually matter to you, but I just want you to understand. So you're going to map your nervous system state. So you diagnose yourself. Remember, I said you go into the hospital. When you go into the hospital, the doctor never just gives you medicine right away. Like that does not happen. I hope it doesn't happen. I hope you're not experiencing doctors giving you medicine right away. No, it's because they need to diagnose you. They need to figure out, analyze, okay, what's going on. So they're going to, in your case, you're going to be your own doctor. You're going to map yourself, your nervous system, and say, what in the world is going on? What is going on? What do I feel? What is happening to me right now? And am I in fight, flight, or freeze? Okay, fight, flight, or freeze. And I'm going to simplify it like that. And I know that's probably really dumbing it down but that's fine. It's just simplified for right now. Fight, flight, or freeze. What's happening to me right now? Actually, fight and flight you can kind of group together for this purpose, or freeze. So just figure it out. And then once you figure out what it is, you can use one of the techniques that I'll show you. That's you regulating yourself. So diagnose first, regulate second. Always do that. Always diagnose and then regulate. In life, you should always diagnose, where am I? What where am I trying to go? What time would I like to arrive? Right? Like it's always about diagnosis. Okay. Then integrate. And this is reconnecting this is basically saying, okay, where am I right now? I'm feeling like I need to fight because I'm fighting for my life. I'm fighting for survival. Remember that bear or that tiger is coming after you. I know that I need to regulate. Okay, so I know that I'm amped up. I am hyper aroused. I need to down regulate, which is taking a calm approach of is taking when you take a calm approach, intentional regulation. I want you to think about that intentionally. I need to take intentional steps to quickly calm my system, my nervous system down. Doesn't mean the world is going to be switched back on with the light, in terms of everything perfect in your life. But it will switch back on your thinking brain and it will switch back on your nervous system to function normally. Because when you are in fight or flight or freeze or shutdown, you are not functioning normally. You're functioning like a bear or a tiger is after you, going to gnaw off your face. And you get this flood of hormones. The brain is compromised, and you are operating out of survival. So bring yourself back online. Diagnose, where am I? What state am I in right now? And what do I need? What do I need? So after you find out what you need, then you are going to think about what was I about to do? What was I going to do before shit hit the chart? That's the name of this thing, right? Tactical clarity when shit hits the chart. What was I going to do before I spiraled out of control, before I froze, before I panicked? Okay. So where am I? What state am I in? What do I need? And what was I going to do? So if the plan was, I am going to wait until Bitcoin hits this level before I do this thing, then once you get your brain back online thinking again, or you say, I am not going to do this thing until this happens, or whatever your decision is, you come back, you reconnect to the strategy. And that's the part that unfortunately a lot of people miss. They are doing their thing in the middle of their funk or their panic or their freak out or their freeze or their meltdown. That includes going off on people. It includes saying something you didn't mean to say. It includes being rude or hostile, whatever, because you feel threatened and your brain, you are just trying to survive. And you do things that you never otherwise would do if you were in a state of if you were in a regulated state. That is what hijacking means. It means to take over, to take control, and unfortunately, because you have uh, not got your thinking brain online, you make the wrong decision. So you need to think about what the decision would have been, should have been, can still be now that you are cognitively available. And that is the reason why, another reason why mindset fails, why affirmations fail, because you are cognitively overloaded. Actually, it's not even online, right? So you are trying to force yourself, push yourself to do something that your body isn't ready to do. You're literally stuck. You've got to get unstuck. How do you get unstuck? You figure out, diagnose. What state am I in? Regulate. What do I need? Integrate. What strategy was I going to deploy before all of this happened? Right? And then you push. So there's nuance here. Sometimes when you're frozen or you're shut down, pushing feels already horrible. I don't mean push as in forcing yourself. I mean push as in there's a reason why you regulate. And you don't regulate for the sake of regulating. You don't regulate because it feels good and it feels nice. That is kind of a mindset mindfulness thing. Maybe you do some stress-based reducing techniques and all of that. Like maybe you do some somatic stuff, dance or yoga and all of these things, or maybe you go work out. Of that is to help you in the long run, right? It's to help you train your mind. Um, Actually, and if you've ever read or you've been familiar with, been acquainted with, The Body Keeps the Score, Bessel talks about how there's bottom up and so there's bottom up and there's top down regulation. Okay. You don't have the time to be learning how to cope with life. You just have the time in 90 seconds to reset your nervous system, to regulate yourself in that moment. And once you are regulated, it is for the purpose of not just the feeling good, because then you go to those classes and you do all those things if you want to feel good. It's like going to get a massage. You get a massage not because it's going to fix your life. You get a massage because it feels good, right? But and maybe you have a few less kinks in your body, which is good, but it's mostly to it can be a therapeutic massage, but it's mostly to feel good, right? When you go to the doctor, when you're in that hospital, you are getting patched up and fixed for the purpose of leaving the hospital. If you are a good doctor, every good doctor seeks for their patient to get up and walk out better than they were hopefully before. If you're in the emergency room, you're getting patched up so that you can leave. You may go back to your primary care physician later to get fully treated, do some things that take more time, or you have to have a conversation and you have to make decisions. Maybe then you go decide to get, not decide, but it is decided together that you need an operation, or you need a procedure, or you need some kind of life change, whatever. That happens in, okay, in the context of, since we're talking about nervous system and trauma and all of that, maybe that will happen with your therapist. Maybe that will happen in an AA meeting or whatever you have going on. This is not that. You're just getting online for the purpose of what? Pushing forward, moving. You do that by figuring out, what was I going to do? What was the plan before all of this chaos happened? If you think about a car crash or a car accident, which is just very unfortunate, and if you've gone through it or you know somebody who went through it and it was very painful, I'm very sorry. But let's say the car crash didn't happen. This is also something spoken about in The Body Keeps the Score, which is a great reminder of how trauma affects not just, but the body and the mind. There's a mind body connection, and your body literally is keeping the trauma, storing the trauma. Um, of what happened to you emotionally or physically. But if you think about driving down the highway or driving down the road, and then all of a sudden a deer jumps into your, um, right in front of your path. You're going to skirt off the road, right? Your instinct is to either stop or to swerve, or maybe you brace it, you hit it. But let's say you don't hit it, right? Deer comes and it panics, it frolics, gets right back onto the grass where it was. Suddenly, the road is clear again. Fortunately, there was nobody behind you. What do you do? What do you do? Once your thinking brain comes back online and your palms stop sweating and you're all like riled up now, probably hyper aroused, maybe hypo if you're frozen. After the panic and anxiety subside, you keep going. You drive to your destination, but it's that forward motion that is the key piece to being regulated. You get regulated for a reason. That 90 seconds happens for the purpose of you pushing forward, of you going forward. And hopefully you're going to do it with with precision. Got to finish here, so I'm going to do that. If that makes sense to you, say 90 seconds. Okay. So, phase one, diagnose your state. You might be in fight, flight, freeze, shutdown. So, I already explained racing heart, jaw tension, revenge trading, flight, shallow breathing, fidgeting, panic exits, freeze, staring, heavy. It doesn't really, it matters that you know what state you're in, but what matters more than anything to me is that you recognize your state, that you are in an abnormal, unregulated state. It matters to me that you recognize you're exhausted. It matters to me that you recognize you're disconnected. It matters that you are paralyzed, can't make a decision, or that you have fear, or that you want to run away and hide, or just crawl into a hole. Understanding that you are in a not regulated state is the first best thing that you can do for yourself, and then to regulate. Okay, so we're going to do it. We're going to do it together. Are you with me? Say with me if you're with me. Okay, so how do you do that? How do you regulate during a crash? Okay. How do you regulate during a crash? And this is in acute stress, high volatility situations that we're talking about here. Well, you do combat box breathing, 444. That's for fight or flight. Cold exposure, excuse me, literally, you can associate cold with freeze. So if you have ice or cold water or something like that, you can put it against the back of your neck. That's going to be good for your vagus system, vagus nerve, or you can put it on your wrist, or you can walk outside if you have a fresh breath of air, or you can find a way to get some cold. If you can't get cold exposure, you can try something else, which is to hum for 30 seconds. Okay. And also, if you feel like getting up, actually, especially if you don't feel like getting up, you can do what's called cross body activation. And that's just left to right, right to left. So Maybe I'm gonna tap my knee with my right hand, tap my right knee with my left hand. And it's giving your body awareness, reminding you, I'm back, I'm back, I'm back, I'm back. Okay, so we're gonna do this box breathing together. Are you ready? We're going to breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, hold for 4, and then do it again. All right, here we go. Keep going. In for 4. Last time. All right. Okay. Thank you for sticking with me. That's kind of hard to do, uh, to count and actually do something else at the same time. Hopefully, you feel just a little bit better. You should feel your breath is stabilizing you. Remember, your breath is your anchor. You always have your breath with you. So even if you don't have the cold water or the ice, or you can't run in place, you can't do anything like that, you always have your breath. And if you need that breath of fire to give you some heat, then you can just breathe in and out very quickly for 30 seconds, okay? So let's do some mantras for crash state, okay? Let's do some mantras for crash state. If you're with me, say mantra. When I get one mantra, I will go on. Okay, so this is going to interrupt your non-regulated nervous system in the moment, okay? I'm going to give these to you. Go to andreaferguson.com so I can send them to you. You'll be redirected to our resource page. Just fill it out and I will send it to you, okay? So when you're feeling like you're in chaos and panic, fight or flight, repeat this, okay? Nothing is chasing me right now. Nothing is chasing me right now. Nothing is chasing me right now. I have breath. That means I have time. I have breath. That means I have time. This isn't war. This is a glitch. This isn't war. This is a glitch. I'm allowed to stop the spiral. I'm allowed to stop the spiral. Give me a round of applause. I love this. I love this right now because what you're choosing to do when you feel that panic building is you're reminding yourself there is no lion chasing me. There is no lion chasing me. There is no lion there is nothing chasing me right now. There is nothing chasing me right now. I have breath. That means I have time. I have breath. That means I have time. This isn't war. This is the glitch. This isn't war. This is the glitch. I'm allowed to stop the spiral. Now, if you feel frozen, that means you're stuck. You are hypo aroused. Remember, you need the energy. You need to get energized. You need to be hyper regulated. You say this to yourself. My body thinks stopping is safer. I'll Prove it wrong. This is you breaking through the noise. My body thinks stopping is safer. I'll prove it wrong. Okay. I start with the smallest possible motion. That's enough. We'll just say step. I'll start with the smallest step. That is enough. I'll start with the smallest step. That is enough. Collapse isn't death. It's a reboot. Collapse isn't death. It's a reboot. Now, why such strong language? Why are we talking about stopping and collapse and death? Because that's what your brain has told your body, and now your body is telling your brain what to do. So you need to interrupt that pattern. Okay, so now we're going to do a few affirmations. Let's see, do we have anyone still with me? That would be beautiful to know that you're here. Oh, awesome. Hello, Michael. That's great. Okay, I think you're still here with me. All right, so I love this. Okay. You're going to say these affirmations, and remember, this is when you are regulated. So after you say all those mantras, which I will send to you, I love those mantras because um, it is a real reminder of what we're not going through. We don't have a lion chasing us right now, okay? We don't have to worry. We're going to be okay. We're staying alive, right? So my body can carry intensity without confusion. My body can carry intensity without confusion. My body can carry intensity without confusion. Even in threat, I have authority. Even in threat, I have authority. I don't chase control. I return to command. I don't chase control. I return to demand. I am a builder with a body that can hold weight. I am a builder with a body that can hold weight. Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here. I want to remind you, go to AndreaFerguson.com, get the list of affirmations and mantras. I especially love that there is no lion chasing me. There is no lion chasing me. I am safe. I am safe. Okay. You got to knock yourself out of that fear, that paralysis. And I know it's not easy. So we're going to learn to do it. The humming also works. Remember the box breathing. Remember all of these things. But if you don't, go to AndreaFerguson.com so I can send it to you. It's a quick printout you can put on your wall if something happens until you've really got it memorized. But I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe in you. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye for now.